How can you strive to be better today? How about perfect? Will you ever be perfect? Maybe. I keep trying is what I say. But if you'll stay tuned, I'll lay out 4 things that you can do to start being better today, because being better today is far greater than being perfect never. Being an entrepreneur sounds like, yes, another new client. I did it. But it can also sound like, I am really not understanding this technology, and I'm feeling so overwhelmed. Am I even cut out for this? That's why I started the Dark Horse Entrepreneur Podcast, to help infopreneurs, coaches, and course creators who want to build a business online but are battling technology, overwhelm, procrastination, and even imposter syndrome. Think successfully, think differently, think bigger, and take action by learning tips from an array of business owners, all dropping knowledge on the Dark Horse Entrepreneur Podcast. Check us out at www.darkhorseschooling.com. What is up? What is up? What the hell is up, my Dark Horse friends and family? Welcome back to another dose of Being Better Today Learning. I'm your Dark Horse host, Tracy Brinkman. I've been in the coaching course creation online space since like the 90s, so you can say I got a little bit of experience under my belt, but here's the thing, I'm still learning. And that's why I'm here. I'm here to share with you what I have learned and what I am still learning about course creation, coaching, entrepreneurship, and infopreneurship. So that begs the question, who are you? Well, that, my friend, to me is infinitely more important. You are a driven entrepreneur, more specifically, an infopreneur with or seeking a coaching and online course model in your business. Or perhaps you're just hoping to have that very, very soon. Either way, you're here because you're ready to start, restart, kickstart, or just start leveling up with some great marketing, personal and business tips and results. Man, you got to have those results, right? In order to build that beautiful business of yours into the empire it absolutely deserves to be. And that's why I'm here hitting you with another solo success episode coming to you straight from the Dark Horse HQ as we dive deep into your infopreneur and course creation success with actionable advice, tips, and steps designed to help you level up your game. Why? Because as we already know, there are no shortcuts to success. We wish they were, right? There's no cutting those corners. The only thing we can do is keep taking those little steps towards our goal every single day. All right, I want to build off of the last episode. If you didn't check out the last episode, it was at 344. We started talking about how you cannot make time. You can take time. And I gave you some of the 5 tips that help you take your time back, right? A brief synopsis, but really go back and listen to episode 344 and it'll dig into this quite a bit deeper for you about happiness being the product of meaning, finding those things that are meaningful to you, how you've got to be curious so that you can ask those small questions and get those small solutions that actually lead to big change as you implement them over time. How you're going to have to be like Michael Jackson and look at the man in the mirror or the woman in the mirror. No. We're not going to, we're pretty diverse around here, right? So you got to look in that person in the mirror and then how, let's be honest, I'm guaranteeing you that you are going to fail. But I'm going to really guarantee you're going to fail even more if you don't even start. So if you haven't listened to it, go back and listen to that. It's episode 344, just whatever podcast platform you're listening to us on, just go back to the previous episode because it kind of leads right into what we're going to talk about today. They both do stand alone. If you don't want to go back and listen, I don't know why you wouldn't want to, but go ahead and check it out. Now, today we're going to talk about better being greater than perfect. Think about this for a minute. You're sitting there, maybe you're trying to build your course, you're trying to pick your topic, or you've picked your topic. Okay, now what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I want it to be good. I want it to be perfect. That dreaded word. I want it to be perfect. Yeah, let's just be honest. It's never going to be perfect. There's always going to be someone going, man, if you just would have taught me this, or if you just would have did it like that. Stop. You just want to be better than you were yesterday. You just want to be a little bit better than, say, your competition. Yeah. Okay. And I think one of the things we have to get over is obstacles. Pun intended. Wah, 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 right? Sorry. Because obstacles are going to be placed in your path. Let's just get there, right? And you don't have to be perfect to go under, go through, bust through, jump over, go around obstacles. But you're going to have to be better than you were when you approached the obstacle. Let's think about it this way. You are on your road to your path, the metaphorical road, maybe it's the literal road. You're on the road, on that path towards your goal, whatever that goal may be. Let's talk about creating a course, as we've been focusing on here in the past few weeks. Now, you're driving down that road, you're walking down that road, you're running or riding your bike down that road. All of a sudden, there's a big-ass boulder between you and the other side. On the other side of that boulder is a hole. You don't know how deep that hole is. It really doesn't matter. What you do know is you can't jump the hole. You can't drive your car over the hole unless you're like Evel Knievel. Maybe you could do something like that. So what are you going to do? This wall is between you and your destination. Well, you could grab a sledgehammer and start chipping away at that sucker and make a pile of rubble out of it. That's one option. Now how are you going to get over the hole? Right? Now you got to do something else to get over the hole. Here's the thought, because quite often the obstacle is the way, right? There's something about that obstacle that God, Allah, Buddha, Mother Nature, the universe has placed in front of you that you need to learn, my friend, right? To make you a little bit better. Maybe instead of grabbing that sledgehammer and busting that wall down and turning it into a pile of chips and rubble, maybe you get someone or a tool, something, and push the wall down so it covers the hole, and then you just continue on your travels. Sometimes it's just looking at something a little bit different. Sometimes it's about those little questions that I mentioned and go into quite a bit in the previous episode, in episode 344. Now, no matter what life throws at you, the only thing that you will ever be in control of is how you respond. Focusing on the things that you can't control allows them to control you, and actually it takes your time from you. And again, as we talked about in the previous episode, you can't make time, you can only take time. And when you narrow your focus on the things that are important to you, one of the things you're going to end up focusing on are the things that you can control. And that is the way you respond. So when you approach that obstacle, that wall we were talking about, do you throw a hissy fit? What's this damn wall doing here? I'm going to do it, right? Or do you look at it and say, all right, it's problem-solving time. Maybe I'll bust out my brainstorming cap. Maybe I'll grab a couple of friends and bring them here and we'll brainstorm together, right? And you look at it and you pick up that sledgehammer and you go, man, once I bust this down, what next? And your response to that is going to be in your control. Again, maybe it's when you create that brainstorming session, one of you comes up with the idea, why don't we just push this wall over and it'll cover the hole at the same time? Think about it. If you start flipping out and getting pissed off and getting upset and getting disappointed and feeling like a failure, those are all responses that are in your control. So step back. Focus on what you can control in your sphere of influence, which is your response. This is one of the benefits, I think, of having a journal around. Yeah, you're going to get mad. You're going to get worked up. Your emotions are going to be in a whirlwind first few times, right? Until you learn to control them, or at least learn to rail them. Let's not even control them or rail them. Let's go ahead and feel them, right? Write them down. Blurt it out. Maybe, and what I've done in the past when I was more on the road than I am these days, is I had a little recorder with me. Well, nowadays with our iPhones, we have those with our smartphones. So open up that recorder, yell, scream, curse, who cares? Just put it all out there. You know, what the is going on? I don't know what the, you know what I'm saying? And just dump it all out. Go ahead and feel your emotions. They're yours. Now, you've done that. focus on how you respond. Journaling is another good reason for that. Is now you can look back at what it is you're trying to accomplish, see the steps that are going on, and as you're going back through those, maybe some ideas will come in. Oh, here's what I could do. I could do this. I could do that. Or here's the perfect person I can call to help me formulate a good response. Okay, here's an important thing I want you to remember in here, right? To be useful, you must become useful, especially to yourself. Yeah? Think about that for a second. You can improve anything around you. The world, your home, your relationships, your love life, your business, your earning opportunity, if you damn well can't improve the world within yourself. And we talked about this when we were talking about looking at that man and woman in the mirror, right? So, you're going to have to be useful to yourself first. I was sitting many, many moons ago when I was a bit of a personal development junkie right after my daughter passed away. It saved me, actually. And every time I had the opportunity to see an Anthony Robbins, a Jim Rohn, a Zig Ziglar, a Brian Tracy, a Les Brown, whenever they came through Atlanta, which luckily I lived in Atlanta, which they came through quite often, Peter Lowe seminar, I was there. Whether it was a day or 3 days, I was there. And I remember sitting there one time listening to Brian Tracy talk about everyone's favorite radio station, WIIFM. What's in it for me? And you have to think about that. He went on and talked about how if you're going to want someone else's assistance, you're going to have to figure out what's in it for them. But then he went in and talked about something else. What's in it for you? So often, so many of us, especially the entrepreneurs out there, they want to serve. They want to help folks. They want to give, which is awesome because that giving causes the receiving, right? The reciprocity comes into play and it comes back tenfold, which is awesome. But in the beginning, so many of them give so much that they peter themselves out. Here's the thing. You can only give so much until you have to refill your glass in order to continue to give. If you're doing things that continually refill your chalice, your glass, your cup, your bowl that you are giving from, then you're awesome. You can keep on doing it. But if you do this whole, I'm going to refill, then I'm going to give. I'm going to refill, I'm going to give. Sometimes you get into give mode and you forget to refill and you run dry. Whoa, that sucks. You're not being useful to yourself, right? Remember, again, you can't improve anything in the world around you, your business, your life, your relationships, your kids' lives, if you can't improve the world inside you. And a part of this is remembering to choose your friends wisely. In your ability to do that, you're really being a friend to yourself if you think about it, right? Because if you pick friends that are traveling the same type of road you are, maybe not exactly the same road, but they understand they're trying to grow themselves in whatever direction, right? It could be in a religious sense or a business sense or a relationship sense, but they're trying to grow. Those are the kind of people you want in your sphere of influence. Those that just want to hang around at the bar and bitch and gripe and moan about the world and do nothing to improve themselves or the world around them, those are the ones you might want to go, maybe that's a layer of the onion I need to peel away and discard, all right? This is a process you got to start. Be useful to yourself so that you can be useful to others. Now, one of the great ways to start identifying how you can be useful to yourself is to identify the goodness that you already have in your life. Oh, but Tracy, you don't seem to understand. I live in a shit house. My car is an old beater. It's held together by spit and a prayer. I get it, right? Here's the thing. Achievement, no matter what level it is, whether you're trying to achieve $5, $500, $500 million, achievement is empty if you don't appreciate it, right? It might feel good to have the zeros in the bank. It will. It'll feel good to have the zeros in the bank. But if you don't appreciate it, it's going to disappear. We've all heard the stories about the instant millionaires that win the lottery, and next thing you know, a few years later, 2, 3, 1, they're right back where they started from. So if you can't appreciate your hard work, what's the point, right? Start a little gratitude in your life. Start yourself a little gratitude journal. How about that? I keep coming back to journals. I'm on this because, again, it's from the book that I'm going through. And I'll remind you, in case you didn't check out the last episode, it's called The Bullet Journal Method by Ryder Carroll. Check it out if you have any interest in journaling or creating a planner that's flexible in your life, in your world. And hey, look, I get nothing for this. I just stumbled across something I thought was pretty damn cool. It inspired a couple of ideas. These past 2 episodes have been inspired by that book. So here I am sharing the goodness with you and letting you know where I got it from, right? Because here's the thing, as we go through our life, you're going to read a book, you're going to stumble across a person that's going to say something, and it's going to spark this idea in your head. And you're going to want to jot it down somewhere. I don't care if you grab your phone and a little notepad and type it in. But here's one of the cool things. I find, for me, and maybe for most folks, maybe you included, now I know there's studies that say it, but who knows? There's studies for everything, right? If you write it down, your brain gives you an idea and you pause. You take a few seconds to crack open your book, your journal, and you write it down. Your brain says, oh, he's paying attention. Well, maybe I'll give him another idea. And then you write that down and you get another idea. You see, it starts to cycle. It's that whole reciprocity thing I mentioned a few minutes ago, right? So start studying the good in your life. Here's what I would suggest you do. On a piece of paper, whether it's a journal or not, right now, as soon as you're finished listening to this episode, grab a piece of paper and put I'm grateful for across the top. And write 2 or 3 things down. That's it. Just 2 or 3. And then before you put your head down on the pillow tonight, write down another one. Here's the thing. Don't repeat anything, right? I'm grateful for the amazing, loving spouse that I have. I'm grateful for the roof that I have over my head. Even though I have to repair it every 6 months, I still have a roof over my head. I'm grateful that I woke up this morning. There's your first 3, okay? Now, tonight, before you lay your head down, write down another one without repeating anything, yeah? And as you scan through, and then when you wake up tomorrow morning, write down one more. Just one. If you want to write down more, that's fine. But write down one more. And then before you lay your head down tomorrow night, write down another one. Next, before you know it, you'll have a full page of things, no matter how bad your life is, that you're grateful for. I'm grateful for the fact that I can breathe. I'm an asthmatic. I can remember days where I could not breathe. It was a struggle, right? My back hurt because I struggled so hard to try and breathe. Trust me when I say I'm grateful for the freedom of my breath these days. I am, truly, because I've been there. I'm grateful for my kids. I've lost one, right? That really changes your opinion of things. Is your mom and dad still around? Be grateful. Most of mine are gone. God love them, and I miss them dearly. So I'm trying to make you feel guilty about anything. I'm just saying, hey, just take a minute and study the good in your life, because the achievements won't be so empty, because you'll appreciate them, right? Because you'll be focusing on what is meaningful to you. We also chatted about that in the last episode, okay? All of this is going to do something really amazing. It's going to help you take the mundane and find the notes of life in it, right? I'm a big music fan. Some of you know that. Some of you don't, right? I'm sitting here where I do my podcasting. Is right behind me is my drum set. I'll get up here, and no matter what's going on in my life, if I sit down and play those drums, I feel good. I'm not saying I play good, but sitting down and playing them to music that I like, and music I just, maybe just kind of like, is fun. It releases something inside of me. So find the music in your mundane, right? When you believe in what you're doing, you can flip your pain into passion, your pain into purpose. I've mentioned a couple of times the past couple of episodes when my daughter passed away, right? And how I got into personal development. Well, before she passed away, she was in need of a liver and small bowel transplant. And she was 9 months old, 6 months old, really, when we first knew. And so I got on every single stage possible and sharing with people the importance of being an organ donor. Because that's the real reason why. I mean, medical technology had come along to the point we're talking, back in the 90s here. It was already at the point where, if the organ was available, she could survive the operation. So it was just a matter of having the organs available. And it was a matter of, a lot of times, even as you or I, as a willing participant, signed our driver's license or whatever ID or whatever method it is in your state to let people know that you were willing to share your organs upon your passing and they were viable. It really falls in most states by law on the loved ones, the immediate loved ones, the immediate family of the one that has passed, to give permission. Now imagine being the nurse, having to walk into a room where someone has just passed and tapping, one of the immediate family on the shoulder and say, would you like to give the organs of your loved one away? They're going through already all kinds of crazy trauma. And now to ask that kind of question, it's tough. I wouldn't want to be that person. However, it's still important for all those out there that are in need, whose life can be sustained by this gift of giving an organ. So I would get on every single stage possible to tell people the story of Krista and all the people I had met in this process, a number of other kids, one who had gone through an organ transplant where they replaced 5 organs at the same time. And this girl was amazing. She was bouncing off the walls like any other kid does. And she was amazing. So I was telling her story as well, not just mine. And I remember one time getting off the stage and a young lady come up to me and goes, how can you do that? If it was my daughter, I would be breaking down in tears. I said, it's my passion. I turned my pain into my passion. And you can do the same thing, right? If you start finding those things you're grateful for, the pain becomes manageable and you can choose how you respond. See how this has come full circle? You can now control your response and transform that response into something with a purpose, something meaningful. See, this is all kind of threading together now. You're with me? Again, all the more reason why I want you to go back and listen to episode 344, because these two really bleed and blend into one another and they all connect, right? Finding something that's meaningful, it's going to help you with your response. It's going to, if you're doing something meaningful, you're going to definitely find a way to be useful to yourself so you can be useful to your life. When you're doing those meaningful things and you're going to fail and stumble and bumble and fall and faceplant, you're going to need those moments where you have taken and jotted down the things that you're grateful for, so you can give yourself that boost, that lift up. Because here's the thing. Sometimes you're the only person that's going to believe in you. Now, I know it's great. It's really motivating when someone else believes in you too, but they're not always going to be there. And if they are, they're not always going to be available at the exact moment that you need them. So having that gratitude journal or sheet in front of you that you've jotted down, you can read through it and start feeling those things. You can start to appreciate the achievements that you've already done. And that will help you find the music in the mundane, in the everyday things that are going on. You can transform your pain, like I did, into purpose and passion. All right, my Dark Horse friends and family, that wraps it up today. And on our next episode, I want to chat a bit about avatars and really how, in this one, I call it a case study, in this one example, a good avatar chosen at random turned into $1,000 in 24 hours. Yeah, you're going to want to check that one out. All right, I know you want to keep getting all these success tips and ideas, so make sure you go on down there and hit that subscribe button. While you're there, go ahead and drop us a 5-star rating. I say 5-star. I think it's amazing, right? But hey, I'm on this side of the mic. What do I know? And hey, while you're on there, go ahead and leave us some kind words in the reviews. And the reason I ask for that is it is these subscribes, ratings, and reviews that tell whatever podcast platform you are listening to us on, it tells those algorithms that you're getting some value. And you're getting some value, aren't you? Yep, I can feel your head nodding already. And as you do that, you tell the podcast platform you're getting some value. It gives us a little lift in the rankings so that we can reach more driven infopreneurs and entrepreneurs just like yourself. So please take a moment, show the love, and help spread the word. All right, you get out there You run your race. You get your results. And then come let me hear about them. Tracy at darkhorseschooling.com. Who knows? You might be a topic of an upcoming episode. Heck, probably even bring you on and let you share your story yourself. Until next time, think successfully and take action. Thank you for listening to the Dark Horse Entrepreneur Podcast.
And you know this!
Thanks for tuning in.
Check us out at www.darkhorseschooling.com.
All right.
My name is Tracy Brinkman.